Hi. It's April 21st. I don't think I'm too late. I'm kind of late, but it's not too late, hopefully. This is a reflection. You might be thinking, what do you mean it's a reflection? All of your videos are titled reflections, and that's true. But this one is actually a mental reflection that I had. The reason they're not, super frequent, or you don't see these videos often, and for most of my videos I just ramble on about my daily routines or what I did or my goals, is well because there's not really a lot of time to reflect, because there's just not a lot of time in general that I can spend and allocate to other things, because I'm busy. It doesn't really work like that for me. So, and if you're busy, you don't have time to think. If you don't really think a lot, then you don't ruminate a lot. If you don't ruminate and think is technically the same thing, but they have different rings to them. If you don't ruminate about things, and especially if you don't ruminate about your life, well, then there's really not a lot to reflect on in terms of reflections. So today is kind of special. Firstly, I'm in the middle of midterms. Tomorrow is my final subject, AP English Literature. And ironically or unironically, I had some time left and I was thinking. And the idea is simple, I think. It's just my thoughts on carpe diem, I guess. It's, do you live the present, or rather it's, when do you stop living or pursuing the future? Do you ever stop? Or if there's a balance between the two, where do you draw that line? So I don't know if I'm burned out. I don't think I am burnt out right now because, well, I'm not. I don't really feel like I'm burnt out. But this is a moment where I am looking back on my life and I think, wow, that's not really a lot of stuff that that I've managed to, and then by stuff I mean, that's actually a terrible way of putting it. There's just not a lot of memories with friends, with family, that I have managed to salvage. I don't know if salvage is a good term, but keep or make. I don't know if that's just because I'm more busy than usual, with all my APs and other things. But I like to think of it as I'm more reluctant to spend time because I have more things to do. I keep making more things to do for myself, more competitions, more applications, just more things. And maybe you think that's, obvious and that's necessary and that's ordinary because I'm a senior at high school and I'm supposed to be preparing for my college application. And I agree with that. It's totally normal. But it's just, when do you stop? Like pursuing more and going beyond and going further and going above. When do you stop that? And my answer that I've come up with is never. Here's my logic behind that. If we think of it like social hierarchy, where we're climbing the social ladder and we're climbing and climbing and climbing, I think you're eventually going to get burnt out, right? And when you're at a point where you don't want to work anymore, I think that's when people, or not rather, it's rather when you're at a point where you either don't want to work anymore, or you just feel this great sense of regret about your life or your attitude towards it, that you need a break. I think that's what people call a midlife crisis, right? But even then, you know, you get a midlife crisis and you start investing more time and energy into your car or your hobby. Maybe it's hunting, maybe it's Magic the Gathering, or maybe you spend more time with family. Each of those fields has a field of elevation, or a higher plane of status. That sounds terribly terribly quantitative, but that's not what I meant. What I meant is they have a higher state, an elevated state. If it's for family, you have a happier family, a closer family, a more tight-knit family. Just, there's always more, or rather, yeah, there's always more. There's always room for improvement. If you're burnt out for work and you're pursuing Magic the Gathering, I mean, you can always improve your deck, you can always improve your skills. If you're burnt out with Magic the Gathering and you want to write stories, you can always write better stories, you know? And some might say that that's really that's such a tiresome way to look at life. But I think it's great, in the sense that you don't live for the results. You're living for the process of reaching the results. I get what Brandon Sanderson says or wrote when he wrote Journey Before Destination, because the destination is only part of the journey. It just happens to be the end. Life is a continuous journey, in my opinion. It never stops, right? Life is a continuous journey, and from that perspective, it's never, when do you stop? That's like saying, when do I commit suicide? Okay, that's a very extreme way to put it, but that's what it is. It's, you never stop, right? You always want to go more, or do something more, or enjoy something more. So that's not bad. That's just inherently, that's you. That is you. And I think that's great. I don't know why. Perhaps you don't think it's that great. And perhaps, you know, you think it's tiresome. And I get where you're coming from, because I'm kind of burnt out too. I gotta read Cry the Beloved Country by Alan Paton, but I don't want to. But, yeah, I mean, what am I gonna do if I don't read that? Film Video Reflections, right? What am I gonna pursue when I keep filming video reflections? Better video reflections, hopefully, right? I reduce my ums and my pauses and introduce gestures, and perhaps I have a script and I edit. There was one guy last time who saw my videos and he was like, "Man, you should learn how to edit." And I was like, I know how to edit, I just don't do it. Because it's for me. It's I don't want myself to cut out the parts that I deem unworthy, or I deem a mishap, because those are still all me. Like, if I just cringe or if I chew right now, that's still me. I don't want to take any of that out, because this isn't college admissions, right? I'm not trying to prove myself to someone. I'm just trying to showcase myself the way I am to future me. So hopefully he can get something from it. So that's why I don't edit my video reflections. It's also because I'm kind of lazy. But that's the reflection I had. It's always a journey. And the only matter is enjoying it. You know, one must imagine Sisyphus happy. I totally get that line now. It's just, yeah, the top of the isosceles triangle. It's not the goal. It's just a point in the journey, you know? The journey itself is the fun part. So yeah, that's it. Some good news I have too. This is the updates section of my video reflection. one, I got into the U Chicago summer camp. Hooray! And two, my team also made it to the international round for the IMMC 2026. So that's that. Yeah, we are getting steps closer to MIT, boys. We are getting closer to MIT. What else do I want to talk about? I think that's it. This week I'll probably just spend a ton of time on my studio art portfolio because I think it's really fun making those art pieces. So yeah, I'll probably be doing that a lot. All right. I think that's going to be it. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.